So we are back, week 2 of Junesploitation, Canon Day. We are talking about American Ninja, directed by Sam Furstenberg, cool last name, and starring Michael Dudikoff, who I might lead our show with a question about Michael Dudikoff to you. Steve James and Judy Aronson. And this was the first of, I believe, 3 collaborations between Furstenberg and Dudikoff. I've seen one of the other ones, Avenging Force. That was a Patrick pick a few years ago, and it's a lot of fun. American Ninja, I don't think is as good, but it's fun. Does everybody have the same opinion of Michael Dudikoff?
What is that opinion?
There is no opinion.
Yeah,
He's
that's
he's
about right.
he's just kind of like the guy in the movie, but like you don't. He's not doing anything like demonstrably bad, but he's not like bringing a lot to it.
Somebody told him once, like, you look like James Dean. You've got like a James Dean thing going. You've got like a hunk, like you just like sit back and like do an eyes thing, you know? And he kind of does that in every scene. He's always sort of just glowering. He has a kind of a mid-range charm to him where you're kind of looking at him like he's gonna own that one thing that he can do really
Mhm.
well, and he's not going to stretch it. His dialogue is not, his delivery of his dialogue is not particularly inspired. He can't really fight, but he's like in good shape, so he can fake it with the camera. But he's got that one thing. He's got the look, and it's like I'm going to ride that out. And we can certainly understand that there are plenty of movie stars who have made bigger careers than
Yeah,
that on just that. But yeah, no, I just like his name. I think his name is cool.
it's a great name. I'm
Great
so
name.
interested in like what I don't remember if it was Golem or Globus,
Mhm.
or Golan or Globus, but they did say like, get me James Dean, get me that guy. But on screen, it's like the guy from a 90210 casting call who didn't jump off the headshot once you got him in the room. It's
Whenever
really weird.
and again, it's no disrespect to Michael Dudikoff or anybody on this
No,
level, but I agree with you, which is one of those things where it's like all I think of now is, oh, this guy lost a lot of roles to, you know,
mm,
XYZ, like where it's like they were all in a casting call together. You can see like, tall,
yeah,
blonde, you know what I mean? And it's like, he's not quite right. He's not quite this. There's that fine line where an actor is going to pop or not. You know what I mean? And Dudikoff is like doing the homework. Like he's got everything on paper, but he's just missing whatever that extra thing is.
yeah. Like you can't get a read on his personality, like
Exactly.
at all. Like he's not serious. He's not fun. He's not silly. He's not mean. He's not tough. He's like he's nothing. Like, and I don't mean that in a pejorative way.
Not at
It's
all.
just, I can't read him, which is strange.
And part of that is the character. Like part of that is like he's supposed to be aloof. You know what I mean? He's played the whole first half hour. He's playing like
He's that
mysterious
amnesia, right?
amnesia guy. I don't have a memory. Also, I don't fit
Yeah.
in by XYZ.
Yeah.
He's doing what he's being asked to be told. And like Furstenberg, it seems to me like a director. And we'll talk about his how perfectly he fits into canon and stuff like that because he's a great canon director. But
Mm.
you know, it feels as though his work with actors was primarily working in archetypes, which is like you're in this scene, you feel this way. You're the guy in the scene who does this, just like you're the bad guy in the scene, you're the best friend in the scene. And they fit the characters in this movie so fit action movie archetypes where, I think of like a George Lucas directing style, which is like, well, you just serve this purpose and that's it. And I'm not really going to worry about the performance that much because in the end, it doesn't really matter. That's not what I'm
Mhm.
concerned about. I'm concerned about you portraying an archetypal emotion. But this is Junesploitation, so we say all these things endearingly. We love this is what we love
Yeah.
about these movies.
Yeah, I think Steve James is the find of the movie. Like I
Oh,
just think that
100%.
I mean, yeah, I guess you totally agree with me. Like I just think that he just is amazing, and it's really sad that he passed away so young. He died in 1993 of cancer, and like I'd seen him in some other stuff before, and I kind of knew who he was and everything like that. But like, talk about those unsung guys of like 80s action cinema who never really kind of got the chance to be
Yeah.
the next big lead, but like he could have totally made that leap. And like he also seems like the type of guy who, like, if you plugged him into a movie like Running Scared, he would take to it like a duck to water, you know?
He's like Tracy Lynn, where like last week we talked about Class of 1999, and everybody in Class of 99 is totally functional and totally fine at what they're doing. But Tracy Lynn, like she was rising above her part a little bit, where if she
Yeah.
had more room, you could tell if she had a little more latitude, she would have really popped. Steve James is totally the same way, where it's like he is just like head and shoulders like above the material. You know, he's just bringing so much energy and so much charisma and so much fun that you're just like, I want to see a movie about that guy. Yeah. So speaking of which, I originally picked this one. This was my pick this week. And I picked American Ninja because one, it was an unseen canon for me, and two,
Mhm.
I thought this was the first in the canon Ninja series. Because I've seen like Ninja 3 and I've
Oh,
seen Return of the
yeah.
Ninja. I thought this was Ninja 1. And then
Isn't
it
that
turned
Enter the Ninja with
right.
Franco Nero?
That's what I ended up finding out. And I realized like, oh
Yeah,
no, that's not this at all. Like I just had everything, the wires crossed in my head.
yeah.
Uh, but then because then I saw that there's 3, 4 more American Ninja movies, only 1 or 2 with Dudikoff in them. But
I might be misremembering this a little, so bear with me, but I have a vague memory of when my grandfather owned a hardware store.
hmm,
It was next to a video store in the late 80s,
huh?
and it was one of those mom and pop video stores that had posters like all over the windows.
Yeah,
And one of the posters was for Cannon's Platoon Leader, starring Michael Dudikoff, which was clearly a knockoff of Platoon.
right.
And I could not parse at age 6 that this was not the sequel to Platoon. And I knew, and Platoon was big enough where I knew even when I was like 5 that
Yeah.
Platoon was a huge deal. So I was just like, Dad, have you seen Platoon Leader yet? And he's just like, no, I'm not, it's not the same thing. And I'm just like, how can you be a Platoon fan and not watch Platoon Leader? I like had this, it was like a David Johansen situation where I thought Buster Poindexter was as big as Frank Sinatra, and I could not figure out that that was not true. This movie also stars Judy Aronson
Hmm.
from Friday the 13th 4, who Ted White famously saved from Joseph Zito on the set of that movie.
Yeah.
She got hypothermia on set because he kept her in a freezing lake for too long.
Yes.
But that's one of my favorite convention stories. But I like Judy Aronson in this movie because she starts out as bratty girl,
Hmm.
and for no reason other than she saw Michael Dudikoff with his shirt off, she
Which
does a complete 180. Which I get it. He's Michael Dudikoff. He's the dude.
she wanted to be
um,
Mrs. Dudikoff.
yeah, exactly. But she, like, on a dime,
Oh yeah.
changes her entire personality, and I think their budding romance is pretty cute. It's kind of adorable. And I like the budding friendship between Steve James and between Michael Dudikoff. And um, yeah, I mean, for whatever you have to say about, the movie's shortcomings, what have you, if that's what you feel, like there is a outlying sincerity
Mhm.
that carries you through the movie. The action, while not maybe as ambitious as its counterparts, is very well staged. It gets in, it gets out, does what it needs to do. It's pretty good.
We last week we talked about Class of 1999 as, I sort of talked about it as sort of like just a prototypical Junesploitation movie, like just a perfect movie to start off. And this one, knowing our audience, if you're watching this, you've probably seen American Ninja, you probably know American Ninja. The beats of American Ninja are very familiar to you. You know what I mean? The way it's executed is it's very predictable. You see all the dominoes being set up before you sit them down. But again, there is just something very comforting about it. There was something very comforting for me watching this just because I'm a structure fan and movies recently I've noticed are just struggling with telling coherent stories. So
Mm-hmm.
there's something about this movie living well within its limits, but loving its limits and really enjoying its limits. You know what I mean? Like if somebody presents a movie to me sincerely and does it in a way that reflects some kind of craft or at least some kind of enthusiasm, especially during Junesploitation, I'm gonna be all about it. I'm 100% in for American Ninja. I had a ton of fun.
So what your point is, like, I made the joke that like this summer I'm just like, summer thrills, yes, no,
Some of
and
those.
that's kind of where I'm at. And it's weird because I feel like I have to relearn how to watch movies in a lot of ways
Yep.
because people are and I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing yet. It's still too early, but I feel like people are breaking a lot of rules in terms of what a movie is. Tarantino famously recently said, "What even is a motion picture nowadays?" And I agree with him in a lot of fashions, even for movies that are ostensibly good.
Right.
But yeah, there's something just comforting about not having to be so analytical about something. And watching American Ninja and watching a lot of the Junesploitation fare that I've seen, like Sidekicks or Drive and things like that. I mean, like they know exactly what they're setting out to do. They have the right people who are earnestly trying to accomplish those things. And they might not give you a home run, but they're going to give you a professional enough stand-up double.
I did not want anything more than what I got, and I got exactly as much as I needed.
That's very well put. I have a question for our audience. I'm a pretty much a novice to Michael Dudikoff cinema and Steve James cinema. I've seen just this and Avenging Force. If you have recommendations, put them in the comments, whether it's on the website or on the YouTube video, because I would like to know kind of what the best of both of these actors are. So,
Yeah.
and we're gonna be back next week with Ripoffs Day, and we're going to be watching Grizzly, which I've never seen. Rob, have you seen it before?
I've not seen it before. No.
Do you know anything about Grizzly? I don't know anything about
I
Grizzly.
picked
Who's
it
starring
because
in
it
it?
was. I picked
Okay.
again, another one of my picks 2 weeks in a row. Sorry, everybody. I picked it because it was a Jaws ripoff, and Jaws is my favorite
Yeah,
movie. And it's a Jaws ripoff I've never seen. It was on a list of ripoffs, and that's what I went with.
I'm excited.
Yeah, why not? June
Yeah,
exploitation. Summer thrills.
Junesploitation is so nice. It's just like this nice little breather in the middle of the summer. It's like when my White Sox aren't good, and then I watch like independent baseball. It's like this is how Junesploitation feels to me, where it's just like this is just what I want right now. All right. Well, we will be. Let me try that again. We will be back next week
Yes.
with Grizzly, and until next time.
These seats are Dudikoff. That doesn't make any sense, but I just want to say Dudikoff one more time.
No, it's all good. You got to. You got to. If you flunk the dunk in June, you're out, Pop.